Hi, I'm Dr. Leif Smith. I help people get better, be better, and do better in all walks of life on an everyday basis. And today I want to talk about a little lesson I learned from Oreos. Welcome. And before we start, if you are not a subscriber, please hit the subscribe button before you go any further. It really helps my channel grow, it helps my community grow, and it helps me reach and help more people. Now, let's move on to addiction. Today I want to talk about addiction. And I want to talk about it because I'm seeing a lot of clients and patients in my private practice that are suffering from addiction. Now, addiction is technically defined, if we're going to be technical about it, by tolerance, or the idea that we need more of a substance to get the desired effect from that substance. So, for instance, alcohol, when you need 3 or 4 beers to start getting a buzz, or when you need 5 or 6 beers later on to start getting that same buzz, or later on you need a 12-pack to get that slight little buzz feeling that you were getting initially from having 3 beers. That's something we call tolerance. So when we're looking at addiction, we look at tolerance, okay? We also look at withdrawal, meaning when you don't have the substance, are you craving it to the point of using it again, even though you know it's not good for you? So even though you know alcohol is not good for you, you are drinking it at 7 a.m. in the morning on a Monday morning. Because if you don't do it, you get the shakes, you get the sweats. That would be an example of withdrawal. A good example for most people is caffeine withdrawal. A lot of us like our cup of joe early in the morning, or 2 or 3 or 4. I'm Swedish, so I like a lot of coffee. Now, all of us can relate to that one day where we didn't quite get the amount of coffee that we would normally drink. What happens? You start getting headaches, you start getting irritable, you start getting shaky, right? That's caffeine withdrawal. And the only cure for it is another cup of coffee. So, addiction in general is defined by withdrawal and tolerance, those two things. Now, what I see a lot of, and that's why I wanted to talk about it in this video, is people that aren't really technically addicted or addictive in nature totally, right? So they don't have all the symptoms of tolerance. They don't have all the symptoms of withdrawal. It's not totally damaging their life. They're functioning on a daily basis in general. But what I'm here to talk about is the lesson that I learned from Oreos. What does that mean? Why am I talking about Oreos? I'm talking about Oreos because I love them. They're my pretty little pet, just like in Tommy Boy. I love Oreos. They taste so good. A nice cold cup of milk, nice stack of Oreos. I was a happy guy. So for years, I loved to eat Oreos. And I didn't think it was a big deal. You get a pack of Oreos, you go to Kroger, you go to a store, and they're having 3 for $6 or 3 for $7. Don't mind if I do, right? Now, I'm not for the colored Oreos, the green ones, the orange ones, the red ones. I think that's kind of gross. But general Oreos, specifically double stuff, I help myself to those. I usually eat pretty healthy. I work out a lot, right? I'm an active guy. Don't mind if I do. I'll have those Oreos. Here's the problem I started running into, and if you're like me, you can relate. I would open one pack of Oreos, and usually there were 3 rows of Oreos in the pack. It might be different now. If that is, you can leave a comment and let me know I'm wrong. But usually there's 3 rows of Oreos, and I would open the pack and I'd eat 2 or 3 from a row, right, while I'm doing something, close the pack up and go about my business, go about my day. Sometimes I do a lot of work from home, so I'd pop back in, help myself to 3 or 4 more Oreos. Pretty soon I notice there's an imbalance. One of these rows is imbalanced. I have to finish that row completely. Okay, I've done that. Then maybe 2-3 hours later, come back and start the second row. Now there's a total imbalance. Now I'm starting to have cognitive dissonance, right? What do I do? This is crazy. Why am I limiting myself to a couple of Oreos here and there? And then I notice that it's totally uneven. And then I think, wait a minute, what am I doing? I'm an adult. Why don't I just finish this row? So I finished the second row of Oreos. Don't mind if I do. I'm an adult. No one's going to tell me what to do with my Oreos. And I'm going to have a cup of cold milk with it. So now I've eaten 2/3 of the pack of Oreos. And this is usually within a couple of hours, 3, 4, 5 hours. I know that's not a couple, but just keep listening. Later on, I might have 1 or 2 from that third row. Then I get to the point where I'm looking at the row and I'm thinking, this is really ridiculous. I'm almost done with the pack. I might as well finish it while I'm on Google, while I'm researching things on YouTube or PubMed or PsycInfo, whatever. I might as well just finish it and stop being silly. Now I can throw it away and not have any more Oreos for a while. What just happened? What just happened is I ate probably 15,000 calories, who knows how many chemicals, who knows how much sugar, right? And put all that junk in my body. And then what happens later? I miss my little Oreos. I miss them, right? They're like that crazy ex who's really hot, but bad for you, right? And so that's what I would go through. And I'd think, oh my gosh, what am I doing? They're so bad for me, but I miss them so much. So I'd open the second box of Oreos. You can see where this is headed. Pretty soon I was going through 2 things of Oreos, 2 packs of Oreos in one day. Then I could go through 3 packs, 4 packs in a weekend. Where does it stop? That's what I started realizing. So what is the lesson that I'm learning here from Oreos? Well, what I realized is I thought I was okay. I come, on my Swedish side of the family, I come from a long line of alcoholics. And I've never been a big drinker myself. I can have some alcohol here and there, but I've never craved it. I've never needed it. I've never gotten out of control. It's never taken control of my life. I've never had tolerance and withdrawal. I've never had any of that. So I thought, I'm okay. I skipped the addictive part of my family genetic heritage. I was wrong, people, because it started showing up in more subtle ways in things such as Oreos. And then I started extrapolating to other areas of my life. Sometimes I could get addictive about working out. I know I could get addicted to work. That's easy to do. You ever been there? And so what was the lesson that Oreos taught me? The lesson that Oreos taught me is you don't need to be a full-blown addict to be suffering from addictive behaviors and for those addictive behaviors to be damaging your life. And that was a very important lesson for me, because I thought I had gotten away from the addiction that is in my genetic heritage. I didn't, and I haven't. And so what I learned is I need to manage myself in different areas of my life. So, what's the lesson for you? The lesson for you here is, do you have a genetic heritage for addiction? Most of us do at some level in our family tree. We come from people that are addicted to substances. Now, you may not be outwardly addicted to anything. You might be high functioning like myself, going to work, doing your thing, working out, making friends, changing lives. That's great. But I want you to look at addiction on the continuum of not addicted at all, totally addicted, and somewhere in between is where we all fall. And we can have addictive behaviors even if we aren't technically addicted to a substance. So, in other words, there's areas of your life where it can show up. How about work? Do you have addictive behaviors at work? Do you work longer than you should? Do you work longer hours, more days than you should? Do you do more than you should at work? Is it affecting your relationships? Is it affecting your relationship with your spouse, with your children, with your family? If it is, you need to look at it, because you're probably on the addictive continuum. What about working out? I love to work out. You probably do too. But we all know people who can't stop, right? It feels good. They get benefits from it. They get rewards from it. So they keep doing it, to the point that I've seen people work out so much that it affects their marriage, because they're never home to be a spouse. They're never home to be a mother, a father, okay? So addiction with working out can affect you too. It can also affect other things, your physical health, if you go too far with it. So we've got work, we've got fitness levels. What about relationships? Do you have addictive behaviors in your relationships? Do you crave? Do you have that withdrawal when that significant other is not there? That's a form of dependency. When you say, I need you. Now, we technically do need each other at the cellular level. We're built to be social creatures, but you don't need someone to feel good about yourself. So addiction can show up in relationships also. You getting my point today? Okay. That's the lesson that Oreos has taught me. You don't have to be a full-fledged addict. You can be a high-functioning person with addictive behaviors that are still damaging your life in some way. And if that's the case, untreated, that can lead to other addictive behaviors. And now we are headed towards that far end of addiction, where you're going to need clinical help. So my advice for you today is kind of assess these areas of your life. Do you have addictive behaviors that are doing some damage to you? We need balance in all things. Addiction, and addictive behaviors are imbalanced, and they do a lot of damage whether they are clinically diagnosable or not. And that is the lesson, folks, that Oreos taught me. And I'm happy to say that I haven't had a pack of Oreos by myself in probably 10, 15 years now, because I beat my Oreo addiction. Thank you very much. I'm Dr. Leif Smith. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe now. And I will see you in my next video.